Rams defensive back Quentin Lake, who is joining us here after a little walkthrough. How'd it go today? How was it? Nice day out here, at least.
Yeah, the weather's been a little bit better, honestly. Cooled down a little bit. You know, California has been pretty hot. There was like a heat wave or something, but nice weather, good cool breeze. Had a great walkthrough. So, you know, just trying to keep that momentum going into the practices that we have and then, you know, eventually to the season.
So what do you get done on a day like today? Obviously, you know, it's not at full speed. There's no pads, no helmets, and those sort of things. What at the end of the day, you will have accomplished what doing stuff like this?
For us, it's really just making sure we're locking in mentally. You know, football is a physical game, and sometimes you need those mental resets, and that was what we did today. Just making sure we're having our alignments, going through our calls both offensively, defensively, and on special teams. Get a little bit of rest and relaxation off our feet, and, you know, we'll hit the ground running hard tomorrow. But really today was a mental challenge, mental reset, making sure we're doing all the right things.
When do you start kind of feeling it, that competitive juice? Has it already started, or you kind of pacing yourself here as you get a little bit closer to the season?
The competitive juices started day one. You kind of get a little bit anxious going into the first day, especially the first day in pads. That's when really, you know, we get into these high spirits, high competition, you know, things. For me, when it really gets high competition is the one-on-one periods. You know, wide receivers versus DBs, tight ends versus safeties, corners versus receivers. You know, those are, you know, kind of the moments that we live for because we're in those situations all the time. And it's good to go against the, you know, high-level competition that we have. But, you know, the competitive juices are flying around, and they'll be flying around tomorrow too.
UCLA, you're a safety. You come to the Rams. I say you're the most versatile defensive back that they have. You've played a little safety, a little corner, been in the box, out of the box. That was all under Raheem Morris. Mm-hmm. Chris Shula, how is Chris Shula using Quentin Lake in this defense?
I would say, you know, similar. I credit myself on being a versatile player. So no matter what, you know, whether it's, you know, playing in the box, whether it's playing deep, whether it's, you know, playing man-to-man or in zone, I feel like me studying the playbook and kind of learning all those different positions has helped me, and it's kind of similar transition. So the transition hasn't really been too much. It's been pretty seamless, pretty flawless, and Coach Shula has done an amazing job, you know, leaning on me and leaning on other guys to, you know, make sure we're leading the defense and really just putting us in the right position to make plays.
Rams defensive back Quentin Lake joining us here on the Trav and Slee Show. So with you being as versatile as you are, being able to do the things that Kirk mentioned, obviously there's been some injuries in camp already. Yeah. I mean, Darian Kendrick is down with a serious injury. He will most likely miss the entirety of the season. Darius Williams down right now for the time being. Does your focus shift, or are you still trying to get enough reps at enough different things so when it comes time to be able to do all those things, or, hey, they're going to need me over here, I need to concentrate more on that particular assignment?
I think, you know, if the coaches tell you, hey, you need to focus on one thing, then that's what you do. As of right now, nothing has really changed for myself. But obviously, you know, we need some other guys to step up and fill those positions where we're lacking or where we're missing, you know, with the guys that are down. And I think they've done a great job. You know, guys have stepped in. They've made the most out of their opportunities, and that's what we like to see. Obviously, we have a ton more practices to go in training camp. But the guys have done a great job. And it's really on me to kind of bring him with me, a guy that's been in the system a long time, you know, has had experience playing at a high level. You know, have these guys gain their confidence because, especially at the defensive back position, it's all about confidence.
Obviously, there's no replacing Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
But defensively as a unit, how much do you guys approach this season understanding that one of the greats to ever do it is no longer there, but you guys collectively, how do you guys kind of see this as an opportunity, a challenge that you guys are embracing?
Yeah. It's really just coming together as a squadron, especially on the defensive side. I mean, obviously, everybody's talked about it. Aaron Donald leaving, how are you going to address that? You know, he's gone. And at this point, it's, you know, the guys that we brought in to, you know, fill his role, are they stepping up to, you know, embrace that challenge? And I think they've done a great job. We've looked at, you know, rookies that we have, and Kobe Turner. Last year he had a really good season, looking to, you know, lead that defensive front this year. And then guys that we brought in, both Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, they've done a fantastic job in camp, and obviously I understand they're fantastic players. So obviously you can't fill Aaron Donald's role. No one's saying to do that, but how can we work so well as 11 on defense to make sure that we're one of the top defenses? And that's exactly what we're trying to do during this training camp. And I think, you know, the couple practices that we have recently have really showed that, you know, we can, you know, do really well. You know, we're coming together as a unit. We're making the right calls. We're playing hard, playing with a lot of great effort. So I'm really excited, you know, when it comes to week one against the Lions. I think, you know, people are really going to look at, you know, how will this Rams defense do without Aaron Donald? And, you know, I think we're going to do a great job.
Bear with me for a little bit, okay, because the great LeBron James plays for the Lakers. The Lakers drafted his son, Bronny James.
Yeah.
So you've got that going.
Yeah.
Your dad played in the Super Bowl, the great Carnell Lake.
Imagine if I played with him.
If you
though.
played,
That'd be crazy.
that's my question.
Yeah.
If you played with your dad, especially on that Steelers team
that'd
where
be
Rodgers,
an unstoppable two-person tandem.
who's playing free safety? Who's playing strong secondary?
Okay.
If you played with your dad, who played in the NFL for a long time.
So if it were up to me, I'm going to have my dad play free safety. I'm going to play strong safety. The reason why I say that is, so my dad's a little bit bigger than me in terms of, like, weight. So he's probably, like, 205. I'm, like, 200 pounds. But he ran the second fastest combine time behind Deion Sanders when he was coming out. Yes. So I'm going to put him back there so he can go. He is He was faster than me. Not faster than me now. He was faster than me. But I'm going to put him back, and it was different back then. You got, you got two backs. You have full backs, was a prime position. So I'm going to put him back there, just be the single high safety, go sideline to sideline. I'll be in the box. If you need to cover somebody, I'll be that guy too. So, but really, if you really think about it, we could be interchangeable, but I really would have him back there being a ball.
Quentin Lake joining us here on Travis and Sliwa, of course, the son of Carnell Lake, as Kirk mentioned. Speaking of UCLA, your dad a Bruin as well.
Look at that.
What about the transition to the Big Ten? You look at, obviously, college football is just going to be so different this year for a million different reasons, but it's going to be weird seeing the Bruins, seeing SC, seeing Oregon, Washington in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's a money thing, but the reason why I wasn't really happy with it, you come off one of the most competitive seasons that the Pac-12 had in terms of how many teams were in the top 25, and then you have Washington, who, correct me if I'm wrong, they went all the way.
Yeah.
They went to the national championship. Unfortunately, they lost, but to go from a super competitive conference where you have all these teams in the Pac-12 and it was good football. I watched a couple games myself. It was really good football that was played. To then go to the Big Ten, and then it's especially with the players, you got to go every other week, travel 5 hours. And then if you're a California kid like I was, I potentially had to play in the snow. It's the conditions that you're not really thinking of, like, Big Ten, we get to play against Penn State, Ohio State, all that stuff. But then you have to think about, I might be playing in the snow. I might be playing in terrible weather conditions. So I'm not a fan of it. I love the Pac-12. Obviously, I played in it. But, hopefully what it looks like is, it might turn out to be a really good thing. Obviously, it's a really competitive conference now with all the teams that joined in it. But, yeah, I'm rooting for my Bruins, this year and this season. Hopefully they do well in that conference. And, we'll see what happens. But
what'd you make your coach's press conference?
Did you watch it?
I did watch it. I think this is what I say.
Yeah.
This is what I say. His PR team let him down.
Oh, no.
His PR team
It's a little bit.
down.
Yeah, he's kind of had a little bit of that. Yeah.
His PR team let him down. I don't know if he's I don't really know if he was an interview guy. But he could have went. I do now. But he could have went up there and said, "Hey, I'm super excited to join this really simple competitive conference. Looking for our team to compete. Any questions and get up out of there." And that's
I know. Last question for me. I know you had it a couple weeks ago, but tell me about the Q Lake, the football camp. I'm gonna get the boys out next time.
Please
camp.
do.
But for people in Southern California, tell them about the Q Lake camp.
Yeah. So not too long ago, July 20th, I had a football camp at my alumni in high school.
Yeah, let them know. Let everybody know.
Modern Day High School.
There you go.
Had about 100 kids.
It's okay to say you went to Modern Day,
yeah, I love it. Of course. But had a football camp, had about 100 kids come out there. For me, using my platform, it's a big thing to be able to, teach the game and have these kids have fun, especially with myself as a role model to the younger generation. So, it was great. I had a bunch of coaches, had some other teammates of mine. My dad ended up coming out too, so that was fantastic. And hoping to see, a lot more kids next year for our 3rd annual camp. But, it's awesome. If there's any listeners out there that have kids around the younger ages, come out. We'll have a blast. Bring your kids out, and it'll be a good time.
Quentin, one last one for you before we let you go. We're talking with Quentin Lake, Rams defensive back. What do you think? And I think everybody's just kind of guessing, and I've heard kickers talk about it, coaches talk about it. What is the new kickoff rule going to look like? Like, is it going to look super weird? Is it something we'll get used to? Is it not? I mean, what are your expectations?
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I will say that because, honestly, if the returner hits one seam, it's out of there.
Correct.
It really will be. So kickoff is really going to be a prominent play and you're, like everybody, how sometimes if you go to the game, you're not even worried about the kickoff. You're just waiting for the offense and defense to get on the field. But this time, when you get there, that first play is going to be, it might be roaring in the stadium because it could really go, the whole distance. So really, it depends on, and now you can use O lineman and D lineman, depending on what you want to do. You could have a down and around. There's so many different things that you can do now with it. So I'm excited for it. Obviously, we're going to scheme it up over here and make sure that, whether we're on the kickoff team, making sure, we're getting the return it down, or if we're on the kickoff return team, making sure, we hit that home run ball. But, I'm excited for it. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be different, that's for sure.
It's going to be different.
Very, very different.
Yeah.
Quentin Lake, Rams defensive back, joining us here on Travis. Quentin, appreciate